Hi Gemini, welcome to your Uranus in Taurus special with me, Raphael Ray from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being with me. So, Uranus in Taurus. The thing to remember about this video and this transit is it's going to last for 7 years. Come back to it, come back to it, and come back to it. This isn't just here and now. This is going to be quite a long transit. And one of the reasons this is so important is because it will take an entire lifetime, around 84 years, for this planet to travel the entire zodiac. And that's why this is such a big deal, because when it moves through one sign, that's going to have a big impact on your life. It's going to shape you and hone you in some area of your life. So Uranus is the planet of higher thought, it's the planet of revolution, it's the planet of change. And not just like, you know, Pluto's the planet of change because it represents transformation. But Pluto is about going deep and taking its time to really get right to the root of something and, you know, take its time to pull it up and, you know, pull everything out and lay the soil down and da-da-da-da-da. Uranus just smashes the door open and says, I'm here, these are the challenges, these are the changes that I'm making. Deal with it. Well, cheers. So, you know, it takes no prisoners. It will play no games. It will just come in. It will do what it has to do over the next 7 years, but it will revolutionize this area, this sector of your life. The higher thought, it's ruled by, or rather it's the ruler of Aquarius. So it has that abstract, zany, almost Xeno sort of influence over it. You know, it's got a little bit of the abstract, a little bit of the strange. It asks and forces you to think outside the box. It's unpredictable energy, it's electricity, it's explosive, it's rebellious and revolutionary. You know, it's a youthful energy as well. It's a quick, fast energy. Even though it takes 7 years to move through a sign, it's a very vibrant and emotive energy. You know, it's very, very alive. It's electricity. It is, you know, and it's the speed of thought and the spark of ideas. And, you know, like I said, it represents technology as well. You know, that's the other thing that Uranus rules, technology. And Taurus couldn't be more different. This is like Aquarius meets Taurus, you know, and Taurus is about, it's the fixed sign of Earth. It's about taking your time. It's about moving through things slowly and methodically. It's about, you know, hanging on to things as well. Taurus can be quite a stubborn sign. It's about your sensuality. It's about the five senses. It's about the material and manifest world. It is the sign of Earth. It represents the Earth itself. It represents your body. It represents agriculture. You know, Taurus is actually the second house in the zodiac wheel, and so therefore it rules the monetary system as well. You know, all of these, you know, big things that human beings interact with on a daily basis and, you know, rely on for sustenance are in Taurus. You know, so this is going to be a massive transit for everybody, but it's also going to be, you know, happening in a specific house for each sign. So if you are a Gemini sun or ascendant, this is going to be especially relevant for you. So now that we've talked about the transit itself, where does this happen? For you, my dear Geminis, this takes place in your 12th house. Now, you know, it's massive and it's exciting and also a bit scary as well. And I don't say that to fearmonger. I just say, you know, why do I say that? Because your 12th house represents your psychic awareness. It represents magic. It represents the other world. It represents, you know, what is beneath reality. It represents the intangible realm. It represents your past. It represents your subconscious. You know, the 12th house is ruled by Pisces, so things like mental health, asylums, all of that kind of stuff, hospitals, all of that. You know, and, you know, when this is happening in your 12th house, it's going to pay specific and special attention to those matters, and it will bring your attention to them, and it will create changes, big sweeping changes, and even some challenges in that arena. So I've got my trusty notes here. This will take place in your 12th house, which is about spirituality, magic, psychic awareness, and even your thoughts about reality itself will start to change. And the reason it will start to change is because Uranus is spontaneous ideas and thought. It's abstract thoughts. It's, you know, inspiration that comes to you, you know, just of a flash, and completely revolutionizes what you think and feel and believe about a specific subject, you know, and this is happening in your 12th house. This now could be, over the next 7 years, this could be you really starting to, if you've never been a spiritual person, I mean, you've got a modicum of spirituality because you're here looking at astrology, and astrology isn't just about science. Some would argue that, but meh. We're not here for that, not today anyway. You know, your 12th house, Uranus in your 12th house, this is going to be, over the next 7 years, this is going to be you. If you're, like I said, if you're not a spiritual person and never have been, you might start to have that idea and outlook of your life changed, and it will be because of some very surprising, some very surprising or startling events that, that take place, that force you to really change your ideas by challenging what you believe, what you're conditioned to believe, what you've been programmed to believe. And the reason I say that is because Uranus is also the rebel. And when you rebel against something, it's about you changing the thought pattern, the belief system, or the conditioning or program that you've been given from an outside perspective. When you rebel against something, it's because you're rejecting that programming or that conditioning. You know, from something that is imposed on you from outside, you refuse that and say, actually, no, I don't believe that. It doesn't resonate with me, so I'm going to push and rebel against it. And Uranus rules rebels, so interesting. Surprise moments of telepathy, precognitive vision, and even predictive dreams may be possible at this time and can reveal things to you that you had never even pondered. And that's a big part of this, you know, like I said, that Uranus rules Aquarius, which is all to do with the mind, it's all to do with thought. Just like Taurus represents the earth itself, Aquarius, Uranus, represents thought. It represents the higher octave of thought, and it also represents air. And the air is all about communication. It's about the things that we send out and receive. And your sign, more than any other, Gemini, is the sign of communication. And this is about your thought. It's about the higher octaves of your thought, about the higher functions of your brain now starting to reach out there. And this is really interesting for you guys because it's like you're communicative and expressive anyway. And you're an air sign just like Aquarius. So, you know, you have a lot in common with Uranus. You know, because so this is here and it's like one of the trine aspects, you know, in the zodiac, because it's a brother or a sister air sign to you. You know, and Uranus moving into Taurus is going into your 12th house. And your 12th house is about how you reach out there into the wider world to connect with things that are not necessarily of this world. You know, whether that's God, whether it's spirits, whether it's energy, whether it's cosmic energy, spiritual energy, whether it's the energy of the earth, you know, chi, reiki, all of that stuff is earth-based energy. This could see you really reaching out into the cosmos, and really this is effectively the cosmos, you know, sending that stuff your way, because at this moment in time during this transit of the next 7 years, this is, you know, when you really start to open up and get a deep understanding of, okay, there is another realm, there is an intangible reality to this world. There is stuff that goes on in the subconscious that, you know, if you can make friends with it or learn to direct it, can be really powerful creative forces for bettering your and other people's lives. Small warning with this is the house of hospitals and asylums. As I said, hang on to who you are, what is real to you and for you, and be open to allowing that to evolve, but understand who you are at a core level. And this is the challenge during this transit. So I said to you that this would bring you challenges, and the challenge may well be, you know, and again, not to scare you, not to fearmonger you, actually, this is to give you some sort of fair warning. This is to give you some sort of a heads up, if you like, just to say that this might be some of the stuff that you experience You know, because of the shock and awe sort of value of Uranus, and this being the 12th house, it could be, you know, touch wood as they say, that you have an accident and you end up having to spend a lot of time in, you know, well, not a lot of time, but you have to spend time off your feet, and therefore your mind and your spirit start to work overtime because you don't have any way to have a physical outlet. And because this stuff happens, like I said, it happens around what is perceived to be real and is not real. It's important that you hang on to who you are at a core level, so that when the boundaries of what is real and what is not real maybe get a little bit blurry, or you start to say, you know, like I said, if you've never been spiritual and then all of a sudden you start to have these experiences and you think, holy shit, am I losing the plot? Am I going mad? No, you're not. You're opening up to a different perspective and avenue of life. You're opening up to a different experience of life. And that's really powerful. It's really beautiful. But for some people, especially people that are closed off to this kind of stuff, it can be really quite scary, because it forces you to question who you are at a core level. And, you know, is my reality meter on the fritz? No, it's not. It's just opening up, and it is adapting. It's changing. It's going through revolutionary changes. And sometimes that might be because of a challenge. It's going to ask you to look deeply into your own psyche and really understand what it means to be who you are, and who you are in relation to the world and the world itself. And you know, this comes back to hanging on to who you are at a core level while everything else happens around you. Transit may also see you going through your past to right any wrongs, or even old enemies that have been created of your own volition coming back for their due. So the 12th house is said to be the house of hidden enemies, and I currently have Saturn going through this house. And I'm not going to lie, it's not one that I'm experiencing, because it seems like every little misdemeanor that I make is being picked up by people. And, you know, and it's also, you know, what I'm learning from the transit of Saturn in my 12th house is how to let the past go, how to truly understand it and then just let it go. Your Uranus moving through the house of the 12th may well bring, you know, if you've made any enemies over the course of your life, I have to say well done, because it means you stood up for something in your life, you know. And a lot of people might say, okay, well, no, I stand by that. If you've made enemies in your life, it means you stood up for yourself. It means you stood up for something that you believed in. You may not have been right, but at least you were authentically yourself. And therein lie the power in that. It may well be now that some of these people from your past come back and say, oh, you know, I remember that time that you know, whatever it is, you know, but you might find that that is the case. And in this case, because it is surprise and it's shock and, you know, and it's swift and sweeping, and it's Uranus, so it's unexpected, it might be something completely trivial that you've forgotten about, but somebody else has carried for a long time, and so they come back into your life and say, I remember when you did this, do you remember this? And it will be down to you then to say, well, you know, I'm not that person anymore, and I'll talk with you through it. And, you know, if I feel like I was in the wrong or I affected you in a certain way, then I'll apologize. But beyond that, I can't own that. It's not mine. And this might be a part of the challenge that you have as well. You know, seeing something that you caused and having to really rise above it because that wasn't your true intention. You know, you may well have hurt somebody, but you didn't actually mean to. And, you know, that might be part of the challenge as well, as you letting go of something that you've done because you didn't mean to do it. Are you going to wallow in self-pity and say, oh, I'm an awful person because I made a mistake or I hurt somebody's feelings? Well, no, of course not. Unless it was, you know, you went out of your way specifically to hurt someone and destroy them. Well, you know, that's not to say that you have or you did, but these are all themes that may well possibly come up for you. Transit may also, this will also be a challenging aspect, but it can be very powerful in its ability to transform you into a stronger and more considerate being. This may take the form of you deciding to dedicate part of your life to a charitable cause of some kind. Now, that's it in a nutshell. And maybe somebody coming back to you from your past and saying, you know, you did this to me and it made me feel like this, might prompt you to look into ways of righting that wrong by joining a charity or volunteering in some way to say, look, you know what, I did that thing and it wasn't a good thing, and I believe that I should pay some kind of, and I say this really lightly because I hate the religious stuff, but whatever, you know, to pay some kind of penance for it, or the karma of it, you know, to undo that that deed. I will now give some of myself and my time freely in order to right that wrong. So what do the cards have to say? I would like to bless these cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So the first year of this transit, the Eight of Swords, it's going to be a slow moving transit in more ways than one. Theory of relativity. The first year of this transit for you, Gemini, may feel really quite difficult because it's going to feel like almost like you're trapped, because the Eight of Swords represents constriction, confinement. You know, the other thing about the 12th house as well is it could be imprisonment, you know, and this card represents that. And that's not to say that you will go to prison. For some of you, you might. You know, for past misdemeanors. For others of you, it may well be a stint in hospital that you can't get past. For others of you, it might just be the feeling of, you know, having to regress so far into yourself to really search through your past, what you believe is real and what you believe isn't real. You know, it may well even be, you know, somebody coming back to you and saying, you know, you affected my life in this way. And that itself can be quite trapping or constricting, because it's like, oh, you know, you'll be left with your own thoughts around something over the first year of this transit, and that can be quite difficult to deal with. But like I said, this transit will bring its challenges, but you will grow by these challenges. The second year of this transit will bring you the chance and the ability to travel, to get out there in the world. This is a really great card actually, because the Three of Wands talks about your ship coming in. So the first year of this transit might be really difficult. You know, it might see you, you know, struggling with something that you've done and really replaying that a lot over your mind. Whereas the second year of this transit gives you a chance to transcend it, to move past it and say, okay, well, you know what, that happened. And yes, I feel bad about it, but what have I learned from it? How can I move forward from it? And more importantly, how can I make that work for myself? The third year of this transit will see you not tolerating any shit. And that's good, because this means that you will be standing up for yourself. You will be, you know, you will be remorseful for the things that people think that you have done, or things that you look back and say, actually, you know what, I have to own that. It was something that I did that probably wasn't the best of who I was. But you know what, I'm also not going to be a doormat. I will own my stuff, I will own my shit, but I'm not going to be, you know, I'm not going to be somebody's toilet to continuously chuck shit at me. You know, and not only that, it also means that your mind will start to become sharper, because you will start to really get clarity on what you believe is real and what you believe isn't real. And also, like I said, moments of telepathy. It's almost going to be like you will be able to intuit people's thoughts. The third year of this transit will see you really having a good, it's almost like a psychic awareness. That's the only way that I can describe it, really. The fourth year of this transit, oh beautiful, look at that, absolutely stunning. The Ten of Pentacles, this is material happiness, material success. You know, the fourth year of this transit could actually bring you, it could see you making a gift or a skill out of your psychic awareness. It could see you presenting on spirituality, magic, psychic awareness, you know, thoughts on reality. Is it all big, you know, a big illusion or whatever? This could see you really making something, you know, material from it, you know, finding something lucrative about these experiences that you're having. For some of you, it will be writing a book about your experiences. The fifth year, I mean, yeah, this is, look at that. The High Priestess represents intuition, psychic awareness. It also represents secrets revealed, hidden things coming to light. And the fact that you've got the 10 of Pentacles there, the 5th year of this transit means that some kind of money that you didn't expect, that you didn't even know belonged to you, will be making itself known. Some kind of finance will find its way into your life in the 5th year of this transit, and it will be money that you didn't even know you were entitled to. Could be a, you know, a secret inheritance from a relative, or, you know, an aunt or an uncle, or somebody that you didn't even know had left you anything. The 6th year gives you the opportunity to exercise your passion. This will see you, so it's interesting because you start this transit with quite a big challenge, you know, a real sort of, it's like the brakes will be put on for you. You will not be moving very fast over this over the 1st year of this transit, but by the 6th year of this transit, you'll be flying. You know, you'll be really making big strides towards things that you want. You will be discovering your own passion, and you'll also be discovering ways to emote yourself, and you'll also be looking to travel. For a lot of you, this will be to the Middle East. There will be something that kind of that is there for you, and you'll be discovering something there. And the final year of this transit, look at this. This is interesting because Taurus got this card in this position as well. There's 78 cards in a deck. There's obviously no coincidence there, but this is about your success. It's about your victory. It's about you, you know, the culmination of this whole process is really going to test, you know, what you think is real, what you believe about the world. It's going to show you what your gifts are spiritually, psychically. Like I said, there'll be moments, flashes of telepathy, you know, your dreams, all of that stuff is going to go through a real shake-up. And as difficult and challenging as some of it may well be, by the time this transit ends in the, you know, in the 7th year, when you know, Uranus is looking to move into your sign, that will be interesting. Then you will see a different side of, a different perspective of everything, but you will have achieved something real. You will really be free. I think you will really be liberated like never before. I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance itself. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for those of you that already have. If you would like to donate for this video because you feel it's helped you in some way, shape, or form, we would be eternally grateful, and you can do so on the link below. Thank you so much. Take care. Excuse me, and I will see you very soon.